Hi, I'm Alicia. Welcome back to Awaken Inspired. I'm so glad you're here. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'm excited to come to you today to give you a little bit of a taste of what a session looks like with me. So I say I hold many hats now. I am an intuitive mentor. I focus a lot on helping people go through what I would consider a spiritual awakening, which I know I have moved through. And I help people navigate the before, through, and after of going through what some could call an expansion of consciousness, an enlightenment, or a spiritual awakening. I also am an energetic healer. I do emotional release therapy. I do advanced pendulum healing. And yes, I do talk to angels and guides. So the old me from 4 years ago would have literally turned this channel off at this time. Yet here I am. And I'm here to tell you that, yes, my friends, the magic is real. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an outline of what it looks like to work with someone like me, or what a session looks like in work when we move through some of the work that needs to be done for this time of the world that we're in. So basically what happens is when I meet with somebody, I've been asked many times, well, what is it actually like? How do you receive your messages? So I have a couple of ways of receiving messages. I receive messages, I don't see things or hear things per se, but messages come to me in concepts. So I would be what you would define as a clairsentient. So I'm a feeler. I think I've always had, or I know I've always had that in some capacity or another since I was a child. But 3.5 years ago, that sense and that ability really started to accelerate, which was a little off-putting at the beginning, I must say, especially when I was invited to try using a pendulum for the first time, at which time I had never even heard of a pendulum. And I was told to ask it what my yes was, and the pendulum started to spiral like this. So as I do this sometimes with, especially with children, people kind of look at it like, whoa, that is some weird special gift that you have, and what does it mean? So literally, I don't use this as a sort of, I don't ask the pendulum what the answer is, but I use it as a tool to help confirm the messages that I'm receiving. So I have a bit of a language, if you will. So I do use my pendulum often in one-on-one sessions and in group sessions, but really just to sort of help me confirm yes or help me confirm no. This one is keep going. And I have I have a whole language now that helps me to sort of discern the messages that I'm receiving. So a lot of the times, many of you actually who are watching this video probably have intuitive gifts yourselves, but you're just not aware of it. So a lot of us, when we're receiving an intuitive hit or some knowledge or information, it may come in as goosebumps or truth bumps, I call them. You might actually experience different sensations in different places in your body. This is very true for me. So when I am working with clients and I'm doing intuitive mentorship or energy healing or emotional release, I actually receive the sensations in my own body. So I call that being sort of a physical medium, if you will. So it took some time for me to trust that and to actually practice that and to trust the messages that I'm receiving. But oftentimes I just kind of refer myself as a translator. So the truth is I'm receiving intuitive guidance or messages in multiple different ways. And through practice and through trust, I have been able to sort of really mash together a few different modalities at the same time. But it really all comes down to trust. And once I started to sort of unpack the layers of disbelief or, trauma or places I was stuck in my own ego, the more and more of my gifts opened up. So I truly believe that each one of us has, very unique abilities to tap into their higher guidance or their higher knowledge, or say their own soul knowledge. So even if you are not a believer in past lives or God or universe, or anything that you can't see tangibly, basically what I always say is, if we can't see the hydro that creates electricity, and yet we know it exists. So really for me, it was about healing those preconceptions about what reality was and what wasn't reality. And then of course, stepping into a very accelerated pace of awakening and change and shifting in myself that began about 3.5 years ago. So since then, I have learned so many things and worked with so many amazing people on their journey. And I can tell you, almost every single person I have worked with has had some type of confirmation or awakening to their own spiritual or higher intuitive guidance or power. I have helped to navigate many people through healing of physical ailments, brain inflammation, headaches, migraines, other physical ailments. And this all comes down to the fact that we are not just physical bodies, and this is something that I have learned and very much integrated into my practice, but we actually have 4 bodies. We have our physical body, we have our energetic body, some refer to that as your mental body, or some refer to it as just your aura fields. We also have our emotional body, and we have our spiritual body. Eckhart Tolle also refers to the mental body or the energetic body or the physical body as the pain body, okay? So if we think of ourselves as not just our physical body, but understand that we also have an aura field, we have meridians, we also have all of our systems inside our body, we will see that we are much more complex than we would have just realized before. So I like to focus my work around helping my clients and helping you understand all of your 4 bodies and how each works together, and how one may be a clue to the other. Okay, so typically when I work with my clients, I begin with a bit of an assessment. So the first session is usually about 90 minutes, and I tune into their higher self, my higher self, and our higher guidance to assist us in understanding what they need to know first. So there is always a priority in healing or moving through transition and change. So typically I like to do an assessment, and I'd like to check the vitality, let's say, of all 4 bodies, right? So I do that with the help of my pendulum and intuitive guidance and some parameters that I have built around testing energetically the health of a physical body, and energetic and emotional and a spiritual body. So you will actually find that any and all, and many, many, many practitioners, psychologists, doctors will attest to this, that most often a physical ailment or an illness or a dis-ease is your body's way of telling you there's something wrong, and or your body's way of drawing your attention to something that is manifested into the physical. So oftentimes our ailments, let's say it's headaches or migraines, let's say it's even sort of a disease like a diabetes or a cancer even, oftentimes the source to our disease comes from emotional trauma that has not been healed, that has then sort of become actually manifested into a physical illness. So oftentimes there is a spiritual component or an energetic component, which brings me to my second topic, chakras and our energy body. So prior to my awakening, I had no concept outside of yoga of what the importance of our chakra system. Okay, so there are 7 primary chakras that we work with within our body, that include our crown chakra here, which is sort of our connection to energetically to our higher selves, God, universe, however you want to call it, or your higher dimensional space or density space. There's many ways of describing this. There is also a third eye chakra right here. This is also related to your pineal gland, which is right here in your body. So your third eye is related to your ability to see or be seen, or your ability to understand concepts that aren't black and white, let's say, okay? So your third eye. We also have your throat chakra, which is your ability, this is tied to your ability to be heard, to speak your truth. So oftentimes when you're experiencing, sore throats or irritation here or congestion, or I had one client that actually had a cyst, a mass that grew here, that was eventually needed to be removed because it manifested into physical. But the origin of the cyst, which was not cancerous, was actually years and years and years of her not speaking her truth. So if any of this is resonating with you, basically I can almost guarantee that every single physical manifestation of illness is coming from some sort of trauma, unreleased trauma, and stuck emotion, ancestral trauma, something in your DNA that you're carrying that then was triggered to manifest. Okay, so understanding these things allows you to realize that we actually all have the ability to heal ourselves, and I have actually seen it. Once we remove our blocks, which are, cognitive dissonance, or not wanting, our ego mind's not wanting to believe that magic is real, or we have the ability to control the outcome, of our health. So the next chakra is your heart chakra, or your heart chakra here. You have your higher and your lower heart chakra. Obviously, this is related to love, feeling loved, feeling supported. And we carry a lot of energy here, and your heart chakra is a very important, just like your third eye, is a very important source for light, for bringing in your own energy, which many of us have not been taught. Then we also have underneath your heart chakra, you have your solar plexus. This solar plexus is extremely important chakra as well. It is associated with your feeling supported and safe in the world, right? So if you're having any discomfort sort of at this place in your body, or in the back body, around that middle part just underneath your breastbone, that is your solar plexus. And oftentimes our physical symptoms are also linked to perhaps an emotional issue that needs to be released, that may be associated with your chakras, or some sort of miasm, or some sort of passed down sort of genetic predisposition or cellular memory. So we humans are really complex, and we can't really just look at ourselves just as simplicity in a simplistic way any longer. We are really evolving and growing and increasing our capacity to have access to understanding of things that we maybe didn't, 5-10 years ago. More on that in further videos. To continue on with the chakras, underneath the solar plexus, you've got the navel chakra. The navel chakra is right at your navel, and it is associated with feeling supported by community, friendships, feeling spiritually supported. Then right underneath that, you've got your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is associated with your expression of creativity, divine femininity, your emotional intelligence, and then around back at your tailbone, the base of your spine, you have your root chakra. Your root chakra is sort of like a grounding cord. So it really is, related to you feeling safe and anchored, not sort of head in the clouds. And that's really, really important as well, because if you're not balanced, within your chakras and your energy body isn't open, you will feel settled, and you will not feel grounded. And then we have another chakra just below our feet. It's called 6 inches below our feet. It's called the Earth Star chakra. And again, that is related to grounding and tethering to the earth. And then we actually have 3 higher chakras as well above us, including the one 6 inches above your head, which is your soul star chakra. We have your causal chakra, and then a stellar gateway chakra. So these expanded chakras are fairly new. Most, holistic practitioners, yoga professionals, healers have known or worked with the primary. Many of you have heard of the regular chakras within our physical bodies, but we are now moving through a time where we do need to pay attention to those that are above and below us as well. And we really need to focus in on not just our physical bodies, but our energetic bodies. So in my work, I typically use the chakra system as a map or a puzzle, if you will. And I am able to tune in to see which chakras are open, which chakras are closed. I can also be able to tune in to messages around why each chakra may be closed. So I get clues as to perhaps maybe someone, again, not speaking their truth or hiding their voice or afraid to be seen. Typically will have congestion or will have a stuck throat chakra. Those who are feeling, maybe, overwhelmed, are not feeling supported, they will often have issues. It may actually manifest into physical pain within their solar plexus. There are many different clues that I get intuitively once I start to map the energetic body. So there are many modalities then that I incorporate into my work. Mediumship is one. So yes, I am able to oftentimes pull in spirit guides, deceased relatives. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Ascended masters, sometimes angelic beings. I receive intuitive messages and often, again, use my pendulum, but also my body response and my intuitive guidance to deliver the messages that people need to hear as it relates in priority order to their health, to their relationships, to their careers, and the way that I wrap, what I do is really around what you need to hear first and foremost, for your ultimate highest timeline or best good. So many people work with me one-on-one in, an average is 1 to 3 sessions, and then maybe touch-ins, when they're having questions. Sometimes I help clients navigate or determine sort of, directions or specific crossroads they're experiencing, answering questions to help them tune into their higher guidance. My role really is first and foremost, though, is to teach you how to bring the power back to yourself, because I believe that we all have the ability to do it, across multiple capacities, and even if that just means learning to trust your body and learning to trust the truth bumps that come up, learning to trust that the synchronicities are pointing you somewhere, learning to discern things differently than maybe you have and question your reality, and to really tune into your own personal truth, because I have experienced and now understand that the only truth that we have is our own, right? So that's a little bit about what I do. I also do some beautiful group work. I show up twice a month on Zoom. I do intuitive guidance, coaching, answer guided messages, and I do energetic updates for the concepts or themes that we're experiencing in the world. Right now, this month is June 2022. We're experiencing a lot of change. We're moving through a lot of change this month. With change comes resistance. which comes ego deaths. So there's a lot of key themes that come up in my client work and the guided messages that I receive and the things that I'm experiencing in my life. So I like to bring those as well into my work. I also do some beautiful masterclass work. Masterclasses can be related to more advanced work, like stepping into, a big change, like finding your soul purpose. I do fundamentals of energy work, individual and group training to show people how to open their own chakra systems and really let them know what they have to learn in order to sort of move through change and move through discomfort with ease. I teach people how to release emotions that are not serving them anymore, which actually impacts their physical health. I do a lot of other work with intuitive messages and guidance. That's really fun. I really enjoy that. And healing. So I also do energetic healing, removing of stuck emotions, balancing of chakras, opening of chakras, opening of energy bodies, activations, things people need to sort of move them forward in their path, wherever it is that they may be. So that's a little bit about me and my work. Thank you for being here. If you like this video, please show me the love, subscribe, share, and come back often. I will be here with more amazing content, and with so much love, we'll see you next time.